Hello everybody, my name is Miyoki and welcome back to not quite Geometry Dash. In today's video, as you might be able to tell, we aren't actually playing GD, but instead we are doing a tier list. And the tier list we are doing today is the tier list of all of my completed Insanes and Extreme Demons in the game. So I'm going to be judging them based on a couple things. I'm going to be judging them based on gameplay, obviously, decoration, and song. I'm also going to be using my own spreadsheet that has all of my Insanes and Extremes as sort of a reference guide to help me, because some of them I haven't played for quite literally a few years, or played properly at least. So we're going to be doing that. Disclaimer, this is all my own opinion, so please don't go after me. If you don't agree, you don't agree, that's fine. Don't go after other people if they agree or disagree with what I say, and if they disagree with your take. This is completely my own opinion. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. So first up, we have Audio Excursion. Now, it's been a bit since I played Audio Excursion, but from what I remember, it wasn't actually that bad to play. It was a lot of memory based, if I remember, and it was obviously a very old level. It was 1.9, which nowadays is getting kind of old. That's getting almost 10 years old, I believe. Um, on my spreadsheet, it says that I gave it a 7 out of 10. I don't remember much of the song, I'm not going to lie. The decoration, it wasn't actually terrible, considering it was 1.9. The gameplay, it's unbalanced, but I don't find it to be too bad. I do find it obviously unbalanced, but I don't find the unbalancing to be, more sort of bullcrap or just bad comparatively to some other levels. So, Audio Excursion, I think we can give that a solid B tier. Next up is Supersonic. Now, for those of you who don't know, I've beaten Supersonic probably a total of 7 times, including twice in a row, which I've called that Supersonic is dead. It's up on the GD servers, it's under my account. You can just look it up. Uh, Working on 3 times in a row, just a little fun fact. But I actually quite like Supersonic. It has one of my favorite memory parts being Viprin's memory ball towards the end. I find the decoration is actually pretty decent throughout. It is somewhat basic 1.9 deco, however, it still works with what it wants to do and what it has. The song, I actually like the song, however, I can see the song getting a little bit annoying, which it kind of did just the start of it, just because if you die, you've got to go all the way back to the beginning, and that's the first thing you hear. Other than that, I wouldn't say it's the best level. The balancing, specifically the dual ball, is a little weird. Transition into G-Boy is a little weird. I'd give that a solid A tier. The next level we have looks like it is 8.0. So 8.0, it's a very weird level. I wouldn't say the song is the best. I like the song, but it's not one of the better songs that a GD level has used. The decoration isn't too bad. It is weird, but it's not too bad. The gameplay, on the other hand, it's incredibly unbalanced. The UFO parts are stupid. Some of the shit parts are really annoying. The Q part, so like the first 40%, it's practically free once you learn it. I think I'd give this a B tier. Now, I know a lot of people do this for the sake of not trying to think too much. I'm not going to, but I'm not going to be sorting them in the tiers. So just because Audio Excursion is before 8.0 does not necessarily mean it is higher than 8.0 in my opinion. I'm just putting them into the tiers that I believe they're going to fit into. So let's continue on with Windy Landscape. Now, I have a little bit of bias towards Windy Landscape, being it was my first Insane Demon I completed and remains to be the only Insane Demon I've ever completed on 60 Hz. I believe I've beaten this 6 or 7 times. And a bit about the level, I really like the song, to be honest. The decoration I really like. The gameplay, other than 30%, which for me now is pretty consistent just because I'm a lot better at the game than I was, 3-4 years ago. Honestly, I would give this an S tier. I think Windy Landscape's an S tier level. I'm not going to lie. So the next one we have is Acropolis. Now, weirdly enough, Acropolis is one of the few levels, not even just few levels, just one of the few Insane Demons that I've actually completed on controller. I back, I believe it was not last year, but the year before. It might have been last year. I'm not too sure. Um, I had really weird setup that I had to use, um, where I literally couldn't use a keyboard or a mouse. Um, so I decided to use a controller, and it worked somewhat okay. I'm not going to lie. The level, so Acropolis, the deco, I actually like the deco for what it strives to be. The gameplay, it's unbalanced, however, it's really only the first, I think, 30 to 40 that's particularly unbalanced. The song, it's not a bad song, but it's not a good song. I think this is a B tier level. Now, Poltergeist. So, fun fact, I beat this originally quite a few years ago. However, back then, I thought it was one of, if not the worst level I'd ever beaten at the time. Now I don't actually think that's true, because I recently came back to it and I decided, I kind of want to get a completion recorded, so I'm just going to beat this again. And I beat it again and I fluked from 34. So, and it took me like 10 minutes. So, quite different to when I first beat it. So, I'm going to be going off of both of the experiences I've had, and I still don't think it's a great level. I think I think it's around 30% or 33% that is like the choke point. But having fluked it, technically, I didn't find it too bad. However, the song's annoying. The deco, it's a 9 circles level. So, you know, it's just flashy, basically. So, I think I would put this as my first C tier. Not a great level, but it's not, the worst level out there, in my opinion. Next, we have Ultimate Demon Mix, which it's a weird one to place because it is a compilation of a bunch of other different parts in different levels. So it's not exactly supposed to be balanced, or the gameplay technically you can't say much about because it is directly from other levels, but that's all I have to base it off of. Plus the song, which I think the song is actually pretty decent. The decoration, obviously, it's going to be all over the place just because it is parts from different levels. The gameplay, it's parts from different levels, so that's really it, I guess. I think as far as the level goes, I'd say it's a B tier level. It's not bad, but it's not the best level. Next up, we have Crazy 2, which I didn't really like Crazy 2. I found it pretty annoying to beat, though the gameplay, most of it isn't actually terrible. I did enjoy a little bit of the gameplay. However, I think the cube part, just before the ending, is it's a little bit boring and a little bit bland, but the rest of the level's not too bad. I know there's a part, I think it's a bowl part and a ship part near the middle before the boss fight that I, for some reason, struggled with when I was beating it. Um, the song, I actually kind of like the song. The decoration, it does what it wants to do. However, I'm still not a huge fan of it just because it's not my type of decoration. So I have to give this a C tier. Next up, Ice Carbon Diablo X, which I know a lot of people are going to be really confused about this, but I like ICDX. I think it's a good level. Do I agree it's an insane demon? It's depending on your skill level, depending on how good you are at ship, but that's not what I'm judging it off of. I'm judging it off of other aspects. So, gameplay, I actually like it. That might be because of ship biasy, because ship is my best game mode. And also, I fluked it from 64% somehow. The song, Club Step, I actually like Club Step. The decoration, I actually don't mind the decoration. I think the decoration for the time, it's not bad. I actually like it. So, you guys are going to cringe at me for this, but I think ICDX is an S tier level. I have to break it with you. Next, Slaughterhouse. Do I need to say much about Slaughterhouse? Not only did it give me the lowest percentage in one attempt on every insane and extreme demon, I died to the last robot part, I think, 3 times, and to the last UFO and wave a couple of times. I I said in the video when I beat it that it was possibly the worst level I had beaten this year in 2025, which I still think is true. So I'm not even going to be basing the judgment on the song either, just because none of that compares to how arse the gameplay is, and the decoration isn't even that good anyway. That's straight to D tier. Next up, we have Bootiti 2, which is actually another level I beat on controller. I Again, I said why I was beating on controller. Um, as far as the level goes, it's actually kind of fun. I actually don't mind it. The reason I beat it was because I needed an XL, because that's something I hadn't done quite a lot of. I hadn't beaten a lot of XL levels, so I wanted to, practice that. So decided, why not go for a Bootiti 2? I've got a little bit of practice with it, so I might as well go with it. So as far as the level is, gameplay is fine, decoration pretty good, song, I do like it, so I'm gonna say A tier. Next up, we have Necropolis, which is a weird level. It's unbalanced. 65%. I think it's 65%. The decoration is weird. It's very meh, to be honest. And the song, it's okay. I'm gonna have to give this a C tier. Next up, we have How to Platformer, which was my first and for now only platformer Insane Demon. And I made the mistake of doing this in one sitting, which took me 7 hours. I think about 7.5 hours. and I could not stand after that, I'm not gonna lie. But as far as the level goes, it's actually kind of fun. The only real downside is the fact that it is so long, but that's kind of the point of the level, to be really long. The song, you can't really judge the song because it's basically just background music like you have in most other platforming games or levels. But and the decoration, it's basic, but it gets what it wants to get done. So I'm gonna have to give that an A tier. Next up, we have Stalemate, which I believe was my fourth Insane Demon, and I think it was the second Insane Demon I ever had a completion recorded of. Um, I think this level's pretty good. I understand that it is a little bit unbalanced with the UFO and the ship, and those two parts being the only things that make it an Insane Demon. However, I still think it's fun. The memory's fun. The decoration, it's actually not too bad. The song, everybody knows the song now because of Grief. You can't lie about that. I mean, that doesn't make the song bad, so I'm gonna give this. Ooh, I'm gonna give this an S tier, I reckon. I don't want too many S tiers because I think S tier is like the best of the best. Um, yeah, Magma Bound. Now, funnily enough, the reason I beat this is because of one of my friends, Nightshine, which, shout out Nightshine if you're watching, um, because funnily enough, she actually beat this on mobile, which is a crazy impressive achievement. So, side note, I'll link her YouTube down in the description, or maybe the pinned comment below. Definitely check her out, definitely give her some support. As far as the level goes, it's not bad. I almost fluked it. I think I almost fluked it from about 45%. Gameplay is okay. It gets pretty consistent, I will say. The decoration, it's actually quite nice. It's supposed to be cartoony, which it does really well. The gameplay, yeah, it's kind of fun. The song actually really does fit with the level. So I think I'll give this an A tier. Next up we have, looks like Firewall. So Firewall I found incredibly fun. I believed I fluked it from 40 or 41%. Um, so I can't actually say a whole lot about my experience with the level because it didn't take that long. Um, though I do think it is very, very fun. The song isn't too bad, it syncs well. And the decoration, I like the decoration. I'm not gonna lie, I do like more classic 1.9 decoration. So I reckon I'll give this an A tier. Next up we have Layak. Now, Layak is a level I haven't played for a while. Well, I haven't properly tried to play. This was my third Insane Demon and my hardest for, I think, over a year before I beat Crimson Clutter. So, it's got a little bit of history, got a little bit of a special place in my heart just because it was actually quite the step up because at the time I believe my only Insane Demons were Windy Landscape and weirdly enough Buff This, which was an Insane Demon, um, and was a bit of a jump. This took me almost 6,000 attempts and I believe almost a week of playing. As far as the gameplay goes, the only part I genuinely don't like is the UFO at about 70% because I died there, I think 20 times, and I remember I died there 10 times in one session, which was really annoying. The decoration, I actually quite like the decoration. The song, I actually do like the song as well. Now, do I think it's S tier? No. But I do think it is not B tier, A tier. I do think it's A tier. Next up we have Pyromaniac, which it's a little bit unbalanced again. The ending is a little bit unbalanced, unfortunately, but that doesn't make it not fun. That just means that the ending is a bit harder. Because I think one thing that a lot of people mistake is unbalanced automatically means fun. I mean, automatically means unfun, which, no, it doesn't really automatically mean it's not fun. So, that's really all I have to say about that. Gameplay, yeah, it's fun. Decoration, it's okay. Again, it's 1.9, so it's going to be a bit basic, but I do quite like it. The song, it's an okay song. It's not the best song, so I think I'll give it a B tier. Next up, we have Thanatophobia, which was my third hardest at the time, and I beat it for my 666th demon. Um, Funnily enough, that video, I believe, was the first time I ever got Nightshine to do one of my thumbnails, which, if you don't know, occasionally I might get Nightshine to do my thumbnails on like very special levels. I got her to do it on Thanatophobia. I got her to do a thumbnail on my Apocalyptic Trilogy video. So she definitely does really good thumbnails, and I'm really glad to have someone like her be able to do my thumbnails. So again, shout out to her. Um, Level. Okay. It's really annoying before the drop, but after the drop, it is really, really fun. I just wish that the first ship wasn't as bull as it is. It felt like not fake difficulty, but like forced difficulty, where it's just like, oh yeah, get past this kind of stupidly difficult ship part to even have a chance at, you know, 11%, which is a hard timing, to even have a chance at the rest of the pre-drop, to even have a chance at the rest of the level. I found that annoying. The decoration, though, really good decoration. It's really good at being not scary or creepy, but sort of that horror theme. And the song is amazing. If you guys don't know, I believe the song was written by Triaxis, which, if you don't know who Triaxis is, they are a well known creator back in, I believe, 1.9. I might have to fact check that, but I reckon Thanatophobia is an A tier. The only reason it doesn't get S tier is because of the pre-drop. I found the pre-drop incredibly annoying to try and get through. Next up we have Crimson Clutter, which was actually my hardest back, I think, 2 years ago in March, I believe, was when I beat it. And that somewhat kickstarted that year being really good. I believe that year I beat like 20 or so insane demons, maybe even a little bit more. I can't quite remember. Um, I do think Crimson Clutter actually is pretty fun. I think the only really annoying part is probably like the first 10-15% of the wave before you get into the duel. But once you get to the duel, it is really, really fun, personally. Um, Song, I actually quite like the song. I do listen to it a little bit. The decoration, I like the decoration. I know it's 9 circles, but I like how it is slightly different to your average 9 circles level, because I believe the effect was done backwards instead of how it usually is. So, Crimson Clutter, another A tier for me. Now, buff this. This is going to make a lot of people either really mad or really confused. But I like buff this. I like the song, I like the gameplay. The decoration is somewhat whatever. My opinion on decoration usually is that it is an added bonus if it is good. I like to focus more on the gameplay. Um, but this is going to be really weird. I'm giving Buff this an S tier. I'm just looking at the next level, and it is such it is such a contrast to Buff this. Death Note. Now, Death Note is similar to Slaughterhouse, where I do not see any redeeming qualities whatsoever. When I beat it, I gave it literally a negative 10 out of 10. That is how much I hated that level, and I still stand by that it is a stupid level and you should not beat it, so I'm not even going to comment on the song and the decoration. That's straight into D tier. I'm not even going to bother with an F tier because it doesn't even belong in F tier, it just belongs in D tier just because I don't want to have to bother with that, so. Next up, Plasma Pulse. Again, a level I beat on controller. I actually fluked this one. I believe I fluked it from 40 or 41%. I think the gameplay, it's a little weird. The duel's a little bit weird, but it does get consistent. Um, the song, I'm not going to lie, I forgot how the song goes. The decoration is okay. Again, it's 1.9. I believe it's a 1.9 level, so it's not the best decoration, but it gets what it wants to get done, so I think Plasma Pulse is fine as a B tier level. Next up we have Effort, which I wish Effort was fun because it looks like one of those levels that would be fun, but in reality it isn't, unfortunately. I do actually quite like the song, but the gameplay and the decoration really don't do it for me. The gameplay is horrendous in my opinion. The decoration, it's okay, but it's not the best, so I'm going to give Effort a C tier. The Janus Miracle now. The song that is supposed to be used unfortunately does drop some points because of who it is by. That's I'm not going to get into any further detail about that song, about who it's by. Um, Gameplay, it's unbalanced as hell, though the ship part is actually kind of fun when you get through it. However, it is somewhat annoying because it's going from about a medium demon difficulty straight into insane, almost extreme demon difficulty. And then after the ship part, it's like hard demon difficulty, like medium hard demon difficulty. The decoration is very bland, very not great, so I'm going to give that a C tier. I don't think it's the worst level, but it's definitely not a good level. Next up we have Classic, which is an Insane Demon 9 Circles level. So, alrighty, we're going with Wave, which I'm not the best at Wave, but I did find this one actually kind of fun. I believe this took me 2 or 3 days to beat. It was, I think, my 5th or 6th Insane Demon. Um, the gameplay I think is fun. The song, it's not too bad. I don't mind the song. The decoration, it's not terrible. Obviously, 9 circles, so I think they'll give this a B tier. Next up, we have Rupture, which again is one of my first Insane Demons. I got a little bit unlucky with it, unfortunately, but I did enjoy it when I did beat it. Um, I believe it was one of the first Insane Demons I beat when I got Mega Hack. So a little bit of an older level that I beat. Not even just when it came out, but just for the time that I beat it. I believe it was 5th Insane Demon, but I'm not entirely sure it's been that long. Gameplay, it's fun. Deco, it's okay. Song, I didn't mind the song too much. I think it's a solid A tier level, honestly. That is Night Terrors. I wanted Rapture. Now, Night Terrors. I think Night Terrors is fun. That is coming from somebody who is ship carried. I think the decoration in Night Terrors is okay. Nothing special. The gameplay, it's okay. I do like the ship parts. The ship parts are definitely my favorite. Um, the song, I quite like the song. I think it goes somewhat alright with the level. I'm gonna give that a B tier. We have Infrared now. Infrared, I believe, was my 20th Insane Demon. And funnily enough, it was the first Insane Demon I beat after I beat Niwa. So that's pretty much the only thing I remember about the level other than it being a little bit annoying, a little bit memory carried. The ending isn't too difficult. I believe the ending is a little bit easier than the beginning. Um, I don't remember too much for the decoration, but from what I do remember, it's just classic 1.9 decoration. Song, it's alright. I'm gonna give this a C tier. Next, we get into FFF, which I did for Memory, I think last year or the year before. Um, I found it fun. I got a little bit unlucky, but I also got kind of lucky. I think the gameplay is actually pretty fun when you learn it because it is memory. The decoration, I think it is unique in the sense that the decoration ties into the gameplay very specifically because if you don't know, FFF is, I think it's a hex code for white, for the color white, which is what the level predominantly uses. The song, I don't actually remember much about the song, but I don't remember having any gripes about the song, so I think this is an A tier level. I'm gonna put that in A tier. Next up, we have Crying Souls, which it was a weird level because I liked it and I didn't like it. I liked most of the gameplay, however, there were parts that felt really annoying, and I just died there for what felt like no reason. The decoration, it's okay. It is a 9 circles level, but it's somewhat unique. The song, it gets annoying because you're having to listen to the beginning over and over and over again when you die, so I think I'll give it a B tier. Next up, Melody of Violins. I think I beat this on controller as well. I think this might be one of the last, if not the last level I beat on controller. So, yeah, that's a thing. About the level, I think it's okay. I think it's fine. The gameplay, it's kind of meh. Decoration, it's okay. It's a little bit over the place. The song is honestly probably the best part about it. I think I'll give this a B tier. Next up, Stereo Demoness. Now, this is another case where I think it is a really fun level actually. This was my 15th Insane Demon, I believe. It was going to be my second Insane Demon. A little bit of Miyoki lore. I was playing this and Buff This at the same time, where I was doing one day with Buff This, one day with Stereo Demoness, and swapping over each day until I just beat one of them from my second Insane Demon. So Buff This I ended up beating before Stereo Demoness, so I pretty much just dropped Stereo Demoness. I think I died to 92% as well, which was a little bit demotivating at the time, considering I believe I was still in 60 hertz at the point. Um, it was 60 hertz, or I think I might have just switched to 360 because I had just got Mega Hack. I think the level's fun. I really like the gameplay. The decoration, it's kind of meh, but it is an incredibly old level. The song, it's Stereo Madness, which it's just Stereo Madness. That's all I can really say about the song, but this is another case where it's an S tier level, in my opinion. Next up, we have Catastrophic, which is another insane Demon Nut Circles level. I think the gameplay is mostly fun. There are a couple of fakes that do make it annoying just because they are a little bit tight, as well as a little bit difficult to tell where it is. I think the gameplay, though, for the most part, is fun. I did end up fluking it from, I think, 65%. The decoration, it's 9 circles, so it's very basic. The song, I don't mind the song. I think the song's okay. It's not the best song in the world, so I'll give it a B tier. Is this Audio Excursion again? I think we got Audio Excursion twice. Where did I put Audio Excursion? I think I put it in B tier. Is that twice? I've accidentally put Audio Excursion twice. Okay. That's not bad. We have Sonic Wave Unlimited, so I'm just gonna put that to the bottom. We have Sonic Wave Unlimited, which personally I don't really have to say much about it. It's a Sonic Wave remake, but it's an insane demon. Doesn't make it fun, just makes it an annoying insane demon. The song, it's just Sonic Blaster. The decoration is honestly the best part about the level, but it still doesn't make the level great. I think it's a D tier level. Next up we have Chroma, which was one of my first insane demons. I think it was my 7th insane demon. So a little bit of a historical level in terms of my career. The gameplay for the most part was fun, however I did end up getting a little bit unlucky. I died quite a bit to the end. I died to 97, I believe, which is literally the last click. I think the song's fine. The decoration is fine. Put that at a B tier, honestly. Next up, Interstellar Infant. Another case where I fluked this level, though I do think it is one of the more annoying levels, which I'm actually happy I fluked it because I think I would not have enjoyed it as much as I did if I didn't. The decoration isn't actually too bad. The song I do quite like. The gameplay, it's a little bit awkward at parts, but it's not actually bad. It's just a little weird. I'm going to give that an A tier, personally. Tendo. Tendo is a case where it's been quite a while since I've beaten it, but from what I remember, the gameplay was fun, the decoration was pretty good, the song was pretty good, but it's not like the best level ever. So I think I'll put that into an A tier. Next up we have SFW, which I personally didn't really like SFW. I think I got a little bit unlucky while I was beating it. I don't really remember enjoying it all that much. I think the best part was the decoration. So I think I'm going to give this a C tier. We have EXG, which I think EXG is one of the best easy extreme? EXG is not extreme. One of the best easy insane demons in the game. It is incredibly fun. It is pretty good looking, I think. I think the deco is pretty good. The song's pretty good. This is a case where I think it's an S tier. Next up we have Hallucinations. I don't remember much about this level other than it seemed like somewhat a compilation of different styles of 1.9 levels. The gameplay wasn't great. The decoration was very meh. The song, I don't even remember the song. I'm gonna have to give that a C tier. Next up we have Free Level, which I believe I did for Memory as well, but I can't quite remember. I think I did for Memory last year. It was this year or last year? I think it was last year. And from what I remember, I found it pretty fun. My biggest gripe I think was with the last cube part because I think I died there a couple times. But I think the decoration's good. The gameplay is pretty fun. It is somewhat like burst CPS where you have short periods of high CPS. Um, the song, I actually don't remember too much about the song, but I don't remember hating the song. I think I'll give it an A tier. Next up, we have Shutdown, which I really like this level. It is a pretty well balanced level. It's got a little bit of memory, got a little bit of skill parts. It's very, very fun. The decoration is pretty good. The song for most levels I don't actually remember quite a lot unless it is like an iconic song or an iconic level. But I don't remember hating this song, so all this level, so I'm gonna give it an 8 here. Next up we have Swiftness, which was a very weird Insane Demon. I believe I beat it just because it was somewhat an easier Insane Demon. Um, but it got a little bit annoying. The end, that ship is really weird, and the UFOs, it's also really weird. Decoration is very meh. Song, it's Time Machine, which it's an okay song. I think I'm gonna have to give it a C tier though. No, I'll give it a B tier. I don't think it was actually that bad. Next up we have Club, which is a mega collab that the reason why this level is hard to place based on decoration is because of the fact that it is a mega collab, so there's a bunch of different types of styles, bunch of different creators. The the gameplay I found pretty fun. The song, I like Club Stuff. I think Club Stuff is one of the better Rob Tom level songs, so I'll give that an A tier. Next up we have Void, which I think is the last level on this list that I actually beat with a controller, other than technically a platformer extreme, but I'm talking about more classic levels. So Void, from what I remember, was actually pretty fun. I did get a little bit unlucky with it, but I found it fun. It was fun to learn. The decoration, it works pretty nicely with the level, with like the gameplay and the decoration. The decoration works really nicely with the gameplay and also the song. I do quite like the song. It is the same one that is used in Congregation, so take that as you will. I think that's an A tier. Next up, we have Multichromatic, which was one of my other first Insane Demons. However, I recently came back to it to get a recording of it because I wanted to try and get a recording of most, if not all, of my Insane Demons. So I rebeat it. I think I've beaten it a couple of times now, actually. Um, I enjoy it. I think the decoration is actually pretty good. The gameplay is actually pretty good, as much as I sometimes say, "Oh, I hate this level," or "Oh, this level's so bad." That's just me coping. Just keep that in mind. That's just me being a coper. Um, the song, I actually quite like the song. The only bad thing I have to say about the level is the wave and the drop felt a little bit annoying, but it wasn't too bad. I'll give that an A tier. Next up, we have Damage, which I found pretty fun. I liked the gameplay. I think the decoration was pretty okay. The song, I think the song was alright. Um, it was just a really fine level. I wouldn't say it's mid, but I wouldn't say it's like the best level. I think it is a case of being an A tier level, ship based. So I'm a little bit more biased because I am pretty good at ship. So put it there. Next up, we have Scarlet Pulse, which is, I believe, a Scarlet Surge remake, an Insane Demon Scarlet Surge remake. It was pretty fun, actually. The decoration was pretty good. The song, I liked the song. The only gripe I had about the level was, I believe the ball part at the end was a little bit annoying, but didn't make it, terrible. Put that in A tier. Next up, we have 10 Hex, which I believe I beat that level in about literally 15 minutes. Um, Literally from first practicing it to beating it, I took like 15 minutes. Um, I fluked it from, I think, like 24% or something. It is my second best fluke on an Insane Demon. Um, the gameplay, I like the gameplay. It's learny and fast paced, but I'm pretty okay at that kind of gameplay. The decoration, it's one of those levels where the deco is very bright colors and a lot of switching colors, but I actually quite like that. The song, it was okay. It was a little bit annoying at the start just because the beginning bowl is the part where you die to most, at least from my experience, but I think I'll give it an A tier. A tier is getting pretty filled up by now, but that's not too bad. Just means I've beaten a lot of pretty good levels. Next up, we have Mindbreaker, which I think Mindbreaker is one of the best Insane Demon memory levels. It's one of the better hard Insane Demons, and I believe my favorite part was Bionox. Not only because I found it fun and the decoration was really good, but because I did not die to that part at all. I think I got there 4 times and I passed it every single time. This was a case of, I don't think this was a new hardest. However, it was one of my hardest. It might have been my second or third hardest. So this took me, I believe, 5 days to beat. Um, so I had a little bit of experience with that level. So gameplay, pretty good. Decoration, I do like. Song, I do quite like. I'm going to give this an S tier, to be honest. Next up, we have Cosmonaut 21, which is a level I've been this year, actually. I think it is quite underrated. It's really, really fun. The decoration, it's 1.9, so it's not going to be the best, but doesn't mean it's bad. The song, the song's okay. It's somewhat annoying listening to the beginning over and over again, but that's just kind of something you have to deal with when you play GD. I'm going to give that an A tier. Not quite an S tier, but pretty good level. So it deserves A tier. Next up, Full Moon Paranoid, which I think again was one of my first Insane Demons. And I really, really enjoyed it. I believe it is one of those more lonely levels where the decoration is somewhat chaotic, which makes the base gameplay a little bit more lonely, a little bit more difficult, but that actually, to me, adds to it. The song, I remember the song being pretty good, and I remember liking the song. I'll give that an S tier. Chaotic Evil, I believe this took me like 45 minutes to beat. It was one of the shorter amounts of time I've been in Insane Demon in. Pretty fun, a little bit unbalanced, but not terrible. The gameplay was nothing super special, but it was good decoration. The song, I don't remember anything about the song, I'm not going to lie. I think I'm going to give this a B tier. Next up, we have, I think this is pronounced Clure or Clure. I'll have to Google Translate it, or like text to speech. I didn't really like this level. I found this level really annoying, not really good gameplay, not really balanced. The decoration was very meh. which I think was kind of the point. I think it was supposed to be like a very bland level. The song, it's okay. It's a Creo song, which I think it's one of Creo's worst songs, but it's not a bad song. Put this into C tier. Next up, we have Moon, which, as of right now, is apparently the hardest Insane Demon I've completed. Um, I This is a case where I did also luckily fluke it, but I don't think this is a great level. I think it's an okay level. The gameplay, it's timing based, which can make it a little bit annoying. The robot was easily the hardest part, and at first I didn't even know how this was an insane demon. I was thinking this has to be an extreme demon, but it's one of those levels where it seems a little bit harder than it is at the start. Um, the decoration, it's very samey, and it feels a little bit like copy and paste. However, it's not bad. Um, the song, I like the song. I believe it's made by DavJT, which is the creator of the Crazy series in GD. I think I'm going to give this a B tier. Now, now we're into extremes. So the first level we have is Bloodbath, which I have a special place in my heart for Bloodbath. I was originally going to do this as my first extreme demon. I ended up getting 77% and then dropping it just out of pure demotivation. Um, but I think it is one of the best extreme demons in the game. Now that might be biased because it was my hardest and it is currently my second hardest. And I also had quite a bit of a journey with this level. The song I think is really good. The gameplay, I do think it is actually good. Weirdly enough, the hardest part being Michigan is also my favorite part in terms of both decoration and in gameplay. I think the song's a little bit overplayed at this point, but it doesn't mean it's bad. I'm honestly going to give Bloodbath an S tier. Next up, we have Hypersonic, which is a level I beat this year as well. I don't remember disliking it, but I don't remember thinking it was amazing. I remember Viperon's bowl being a little bit weird. I believe it was just one click. I did get lucky with the ending. I didn't die to Terran at all. The beginning got a little bit annoying with Sapunj in the beginning of the drop. The song, it's not a bad song, but it's not a great song. I think this is one of the cases of being a very mid-level, so B tier. Next up we have, for some reason, an insane demon with Blue Key. Now, I don't know why Hypersonic and Bloodbath were before it, but for some reason they were. So, Blue Key, this is so far my best fluke on an insane demon. I fluked it from 18%. The decoration is pretty good. The gameplay is pretty good. Song, pretty good. I think this is a case where it's not the best level of all time, but it's a really good level. A tier. Next up we have 19 Step, which again is a level I fluked. I believe I fluked it from 33 or 30%. I think I almost fluked it from 1%. I remember really liking the level in terms of gameplay, but it's one of those levels where you have to somewhat force the click pattern because it is such high CPS with some parts. The song, it's okay. Got a little bit annoying at the start just because you might die a little bit over and over and over, but I think I'll give that another A tier. Now, I think we're officially out of insane demons. So now we have Red World Rebirth, which this level is the reason why I had to beat the Hell Dignity. For those of you who don't know, I made a deal with Nightshine56, or just Nightshine. She's the one that I've said made my thumbnails and beat Magma Bound on mobile. I made a deal with her that if I died to the last ship in Red World Rebirth, she got to choose my next extreme demon. And I died to the end ship in Red World Rebirth. I died to 96%. I almost fluked it from I think 60 or 64%, which would have been really funny. But I didn't fluke it. I found it annoying. The deco's fine. The song's okay. It is clubstep. My favorite part in this level is probably the swing copter, even though it is very, very nerve wracking, is the word I was looking for. I'm gonna give this a B tier. Next up, we have Aku, which was one of my first Insane Demons. Insane Demons? God, what am I doing? Aku, one of my first Extreme Demons, I believe. I think it's slightly overrated, though that doesn't mean it's a bad level. I think the gameplay's fun, the deco is pretty good, the song, it's okay. I'm going to give this an A tier. I don't think it's an S tier, but I do think it is A tier. Next up, we have Aftermath, which Aftermath was a weird one because I liked it and I also didn't like it. I liked it because most of the level I found was fun. However, the first 30%, first 20-30% was pretty annoying. It's not a carbon copy of Cataclysm, obviously. However, it is basically a buffed Cataclysm, which doesn't exactly bode well in terms of enjoyment or gameplay. I think the main reason why I don't absolutely hate this level is because it was the last level I beat in the Apocalyptic trilogy. It was the last one I had to beat, and I ended up beating it pretty quickly. I beat it in like 2 days and like 2,000 attempts, like 2.3k. Um, I'm going to give this a. I'm going to give it a C tier. I don't think it's deserving of B, but it's not absolute trash that it goes into D. Speaking of, next up we have Cataclysm, which Cataclysm is for now my biggest fluke on any Extreme Demon. I fluked it from 50% somehow. I have no idea how I did that. I think the gameplay, it's weird in the sense that a lot of it gets annoying because you're dying over and over and over again, specifically the wave. But a lot of it isn't actually too bad, and that might just be because I am pretty good at ship, and it is a ship focused level. I'm going to put this in B tier as well. Next up, you have my current hardest, Blade of Justice. Now, if you don't know me, I glaze Blade of Justice so much. I think Blade of Justice is one of, if not the best Age Extreme Demon in the game. The gameplay is phenomenal. The decoration is really, really good. I really love the decoration, and the song is one of my favorite songs used in any GD level. This is possibly my favorite Extreme Demon, along with Bloodbath. I am putting this into S tier. I think this is a perfect Extreme Demon, in my opinion. Next up, we have Doradura, which was my hardest for quite some time. I didn't really like it, actually. I found it really unbalanced. I could honestly pull up a screenshot of me complaining about the level because I did not really like it. I wish it was not as difficult because a lot of the parts that you die to have really annoying hitboxes for seemingly no reason at all, which makes it really, really annoying. I think the song, I do like the song, I do like the decoration, but the gameplay was not really good. I'm giving it a B tier. Next up, we have Allegiance, which Allegiance, weirdly enough, has another somewhat special place in my heart, considering it is what started my absolute crazy grind so far, and in my opinion, for this year. This was the first in. This was the first Extreme Demon I beat this year, I believe. I believe it was literally like early January, and I think it was my sixth or seventh Extreme Demon, and I have to give it a little bit extra points just for that personally. I do think it actually is a good level. I've actually beaten it twice. I've almost beaten it like 4 or 5 times because I kept dying to the ending. Um, I think the song's pretty good. The deco, it's not bad decoration, but it's like not the best. I think the gameplay is really good though. I'm giving this an A tier to be honest. I think that is an A tier. We're almost done. We're an hour into the recording, but we're almost done. We have Troll Level, which Troll Level is a unique case where I came into it thinking it was going to be the worst level ever. I went out of it having it as my favorite extreme at the time that I beat it, funnily enough. I think it is really fun. That might be a little bit memory bias, but I think the decoration works really well with trying to be a memory level. The song the song's okay. It's not the best, it's not the worst. I think this is an A tier. Azurite, which is so far the first and only extreme demon I have beaten in one single day. And funnily enough, I beat it on about 4 hours of sleep somehow. But I still didn't think it was a great level. The gameplay was a little bit annoying. Might have been because I was sleep deprived. The deco, it's kind of meh. The song is probably the best part about the level, to be honest. I think this is a C tier. Next up, we have the other platforming level on this list, which is Fury of 500, which I learnt from How to Platformer, where I didn't beat this in one sitting. I beat this over a couple of days. I think this was another weird case where it's hard to judge it because it is quite a mental level. It was more of a mental level than really anything else. The song, it's just a compilation of different sort of like background songs. The decoration, it's basically the same as How to Platformer, which I didn't think is bad, but I think it's very basic. I'm going to give this. I'm going to give that an 8 here. Just also because it was my 10th Extreme Demon, so a little bit of biasy because it was a demon milestone. Next up, Broken Signal, which I actually ended up having to beat it twice because the first time I forgot to hit record on my clipping software, which I use Metal, so I forgot to hit record and I had to beat it again. But I think it's a good level. I got a little bit unlucky, sadly, but I think the decoration's pretty good. The first 50 is pretty annoying though, but the second 50, the last 50 is pretty good. The song the song works with the level. Put that into I guess an A tier. Next up we have Niwa, which I'm going to be a little bit biased and also not biased here. It was my first Extreme Demon, but it is also so far the unluckiest experience I've had in any GD level. I died past 80% 40 different times, and I also died to the last click. That was the first time beating it. The second time I beat it, which was to get a recording, which was actually this year, I believe I died 8 times past 80%, and I also did end up dying to the last click again, which is 96%. The decoration is pretty okay. The song, I really like the song, but the gameplay just doesn't feel balanced, nor does it feel like it was play tested. And the reason I say that was because 83 or 84%, I believe it is, feels almost like RNG, so that does drop the enjoyment a bit. I'm going to give this an A tier. Prismatic Haze, another level that was once my hardest. I believe this or Chop Step, which is coming up soon, is my shortest hardest. At I think it was 19 days. Um, the gameplay was pretty fun. I fluked, I think, 44 to like 72%. The deco, I do like the deco, I do like the song. It is one of my favorite Creo songs. I will give that an S tier. It is very close to being A tier, but I do think it is an S tier level. I love Cyan, one of the first Extreme Demons I beat this year, and I also had a massive fluke on this. I believe I fluked 34 to 77. I have no idea how I did that, and I basically almost passed out because of that. Not great. The gameplay, it's fast paced and linear, which I wasn't really good at, which is why I was beating it. The decoration, it's okay. Song is pretty good. I think this is a B tier, honestly. Next up, we have Disruption, which is another case where I beat it because I needed to get better at high CPS levels, and that was literally the sole reason I beat it. But the gameplay, it was weird because it's short, but the gameplay has quite a couple of choke points, quite a few choke points that make it not the best in my opinion. Um, so I think I'm gonna have to go with a B tier. Next up, Chop Step. This again was one of my hardest that I beat it this year as well. Got a little bit unlucky, though the gameplay is fairly fun. The decoration is a little bit over the place. The song though is pretty good. I think I'll give that an A tier. Lost Love, possibly the best easy extreme memory level. The song is really fun. The song is really fun. The song is really good. The gameplay is really fun. The decor is really good. I'm giving that an S tier. Next up, Hell Dignity. As I said before, I had to beat this because I died to the last ship in Red World Rebirth. Though I weirdly enjoyed this level. I got unusually lucky where I think I died to 68 twice, and then my worst death after 68 was 94%, and I only died there once. My best was 68 times 2 and 94 times 1. The gameplay, I actually like most of the gameplay. The decoration, it's fine. I think the decoration actually does help because it does give you visual cues. The song, I'm not a huge fan of Polargeist, but it's also not the worst song in the world. I'm giving that an A tier. We have two more, guys. Two more. Barbaros Finale. This is actually my most recent Extreme Demon completion. And I actually found it pretty fun. I almost beat it in a day, but unfortunately I died to the last wave. Um, and then on the second day, I think I took about 45 minutes to beat it. The gameplay is actually mostly fun. It is somewhat high CPS, but it's not like super burst CPS. It's more like consistently clicking fast. The decoration, I do like the decoration and I do think it's funny. This is a case where I think the level, because of its funny factor, I don't really care much about the decoration. And the song's actually pretty good. I'm giving that an A tier. We go from an A tier to possibly my least favorite Extreme Demon I've completed at this point. This I got unlucky. I died to the last click. I also died to the last robot quite a few times. And I should have beaten this in one day, however, dying to 97% happened. I got John Wicked. I never want to see that again. I think the decoration is fine. The song's fine. But the gameplay, the wave, and also the fact that I got unlucky really takes away from it. I'm giving that a D tier. So, that is going to be my tier list of all of my Insanes and Extreme Demons. For some reason, Audio Excursion was here twice, so... Oh, I guess we can put Audio Excursion in D tier, that's fine. So, this is a little bit of a longer video, but thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.